Yeah, you want a beer?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, you want a beer?
Yeah, sure.
Here you go.
Bud Light almost got me.
Hey guys, surrounded by women, just drinking Bud Light. You know how it is. Love Bud Light nowadays, you know.
Hey JR, how's that Bud Light taste?
It's pretty good.
Oh damn.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about Chicago once again. I talked about Chicago earlier today. And we also got to talk about Bud Light once again. I talked about Bud Light earlier today. And this video involves news that just broke that Chicago gay bars are boycotting not just Bud Light, but they're also boycotting all Anheuser Busch's products in response to the CEO of Anheuser Busch coming out in a recent earnings call and basically disavowing or distancing Anheuser Busch and the Bud Light advertisement from Dylan Mulvaney. Okay, they're basically coming out and saying, look, this campaign with Dylan Mulvaney was a one-off thing. We didn't call the shots. It was a third-party vendor that came up with this, and we didn't know anything about it. Basically, they're trying to thread the needle, okay? They're not apologizing to conservatives for doing it in the first place and their core audience for basically disrespecting them, but they're also not flat out endorsing the sponsorship, right? They're not coming out here and standing behind Dylan Mulvaney and doing the corporate, woke virtue signal talk that most of these corporations do when stuff like this happen. And because they refuse to pick a side in a culture war where you really can't be neutral anymore, okay? They're putting their whole business at risk, at least their U.S. business at risk of basically facing a boycott across the political spectrum, right? And that is currently what is happening. And I want to talk about this because this is why I said that if I was the CEO of Anheuser Busch, again, this would be a nightmare situation. I would not want to be that guy right now, okay? He's in a no-win situation, and stories like this is exactly what I'm talking about. Take a look.
Why at least 5 prominent gay bars in Chicago say you won't be able to buy Anheuser-Busch products at their businesses. This is your morning rundown. I'm Kai Martin. Today is Friday. It's May 5th, 2023, and here's what's happening right now. Several gay bars in Chicago announced they will stop selling Anheuser-Busch products. This is in response to how the company is handling backlash from a Bud Light campaign with a transgender influencer. Some conservatives began boycotting the brand a month ago when Dylan Mulvaney created a sponsored post promoting Bud Light. The company released a statement that made no direct mention of the LGBTQ community, and the marketing executives behind the campaign with Mulvaney were put on leave. Then yesterday, the Belgian-American conglomerate's CEO minimized the company's involvement in the sponsored post with the influencer, saying, quote, "It wasn't a campaign." In response to that, some of Chicago's largest gay bars now say they will no longer sell Anheuser-Busch products. Both Sidetrack in North Halsted, as well as Two Bears Hospitality Group, which operates several establishments in Uptown, say they will stop selling any beer made by the company, including the local brand Goose Island.
Yeah, so you've seen that, you heard that. Gay bars in Chicago are now boycotting not just Bud Light, but all Anheuser-Busch products. Now, this is actually great news for the conservative / real man boycott. And the reason why is because basically, this is going to make the conservative boycott / real man boycott even more effective, because what happens is that because Anheuser-Busch / Bud Light, they're refusing to take a side in a culture war that they entered, okay, by doing the Dylan Mulvaney sponsorship, they're going to lose, okay? They're going to lose everything. I guess you could say they're getting double stuffed, right? At this point, Bud Light has to pick a side. Either you are going with your core audience, your core current customer base, okay, which are conservative Americans / real men, right? Or you're siding with the woke revolutionaries, right? You're siding with the LGBTQ activists. Okay, you can't be in the middle here. You have to pick a side. Okay, and Anheuser Busch / Bud Light has put themselves in a situation where, again, this is worst case scenario because they are trying to thread the needle. Okay, they have not issued an apology to their core audience, right? So they refuse to issue an apology. Okay, they're hiring Republican consultants. They are putting marketing executives on leave, yada, yada. They're putting out ads, whatever, right? They're doing everything they can except issuing an apology. However, because they didn't apologize from the get-go, because they did not immediately recognize the error of their ways, because they did everything except just admit that, hey, we were wrong for doing this, they put themselves in a situation where conservatives are continuing to boycott. Brand is now tarnished, okay, because anybody that drinks Bud Light now, people are going to have questions. And because, again, of their actions to try to right the ship without actually just coming out and admitting that they're wrong, the LGBTQ community is seeing that as, well, if you don't agree with us, or if you don't come out here and give us a full-throated endorsement, then clearly you're siding with the conservatives, right? Which, again, is hilarious that they put themselves in this situation, because this is the exact situation they tried not to end up in. And there's no doubt in my mind that these bars, these gay bars, now that they're doing it, they've started it, there are going to be a lot more gay bars and bars across the country that are woke that are going to do the same thing, right? Because I'm going to tell you something about beer, right? Beer is a product that you have a lot of substitutes for, okay? You can easily substitute out Bud Light for another product. So brand equity is everything, okay? Protecting your brand is literally everything. And when your brand is ruined in a market where you have a ton of substitute products, you're done, right? You're absolutely done. And in Bud Light situation / Anheuser Busch situation, not only have they destroyed their core audience, but they're in danger of destroying the audience that they wanted so badly that they put themselves in this situation in the first place. So all that money, all that marketing spend that they invested in, millions if not billions of dollars over the last few years or so, trying to get young people to drink Bud Light with LGBTQ marketing, all that goes down the drain. Because again, they tried to have it both ways. They tried to thread the needle. You cannot do that in today's culture war. You have to pick a side. If you don't pick a side, basically both sides are going to say, we're done with you, right? Especially when it comes to an issue like this, okay? When you look at the issues of women's rights, there's no middle ground, right? You're either on the side of allowing kids to chemically, surgically castrate themselves, have teachers talk to kids about sex, have drag queens perform for kids, aka male strippers perform for children, having porn in schools, or you're on the side that's against all those things. There's no in between, right? Because most Republicans, if not all Republicans, support the conservative side, right? They're all for it, okay? And most, if not all Democrats, support the other side, where they're totally for all of that crazy stuff, okay? That's how divided and tribal politics is when it comes to certain subjects in the culture war. And Bud Light found themselves in the middle of that, and now they're going to lose because they didn't pick a side. And that's a huge problem. That is a huge problem for them. Again, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place, but they had to choose a side, and because they're not choosing the side, they're going to suffer even more. I mean, that beer is basically going to be banned for everybody across the political spectrum. Nobody's drinking that anymore. That brand is destroyed. Because when leftists boycott, they boycott hard, right? So once they label you a transphobic beer, right, an anti-LGBTQ beer, you're done. Bud Light simultaneously is going to be a gay beer and an anti-gay beer at the same time. It's going to be a trans beer and an anti-trans beer at the same time. Not a good situation to be in. Not a good situation to be in. And guys, again, this is a great thing. This is awesome. And the reason why it's awesome is because what happens is that this is a case, a prime example of what happens when companies get involved in politics. Letting any company know that, hey, if you decide to dip into politics, if you come out here and you endorse a political agenda openly the way that Bud Light did with that Dylan Mulvaney ad, then you better be prepared to pick a side, especially if you are a conservative company. You better be prepared to stick with your guns and double and triple down on it. You better be prepared to do it. Because if not, this is the consequence. You're going to end up losing both, okay? You're going to end up losing everybody because you stood for nothing, okay? You can't market to everybody. Everybody can't be your customer. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, we live in a time where, hey, people can't come together over beers, right, because of politics. It is what it is. Not when it comes to this subject right here, okay? Maybe when it comes to some other subjects, maybe. But this subject right here, there's really no middle ground. And Bud Light / Budweiser is finding that out the hard way. The hope is that other companies see this, whether, they be thinking about leaning left or right or whatever. They see this and they say, you know what? We're going to stay out of politics. We're going to stay out of the culture war. We're just going to focus on business. We're not going to be political. We're staying out of this, right? Because we don't want to end up like Bud Light. We don't want to end up like Anheuser Busch. That's the message that this is sending. That's really what's happening here. And again, it's a great thing. Okay? So, yeah, things continue to get worse for Bud Light / Anheuser Busch. And I'm telling you guys, there's currently a marketing professor somewhere in this country that is writing a case study based on Bud Light of what not to do, right? What not to do. I'm telling you. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.